Well, color me impressed. That, guys, is how you do a perfect pilot episode. Maybe not perfect, but a damn good pilot episode. Way better than episodes 1 and 2, in my opinion. A lot of great content there. Got off to a quick pace and had a lot of stuff to look at. A lot of interesting callbacks to TOS. A lot of great new stuff. We got to see the Discovery, meet some of its crew, and it had an intriguing story for the first episode, and surprisingly little Klingons, which I kind of liked. I wasn't looking forward to seeing more Klingons right away. Doing the Klingon hate speech, I guess. So yeah, there were enough little callbacks to TOS that really make me happy, and for that I am happy. So good job, Discovery. That is how you do a pilot. If that would have been the first one that we saw, I would have been so much more impressed than what we saw with the Shenzhou. Sorry. I mean, we do have the backstory now of Michael Burnham and Saru and all that, and that helps quite a bit in this one. We do see more of Saru's character, not quite as much. I have started reading the Star Trek Discovery novel that kind of ties the two together, and it's interesting because it focuses a lot on Saru and Michael Burnham's characters, their interactions with each other, and why they are the way they are. So I'm going to, once I'm finished reading the book, I want to do a quick recap of the book for you guys as well. But I just started it. I'm not very far into it at all. But it was interesting to have a little nugget in my head before I watch this episode, because it makes their relationship a little bit more dynamic. So this is spoiler free, like the title says. And I just want you guys to know, if you ever had doubts about Discovery, even after watching the first 2 episodes, I highly encourage you to watch this one with an open mind. And you're going to see little hints of TOS in there. There's some fantastic designs of, well, seeing the Discovery for the first time was a pretty dramatic reveal. I thought that was really intense. Like I said, I don't want to say too much in this review because I do want to be spoiler free. There are some. I'll say one thing. The shuttle design is very interesting. I absolutely love the shuttle design. And I had posted on the Trekyards page right before it started. I said we are on the cusp of a major new Star Trek Discovery. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I certainly did. I've been looking forward to this for a while, for 2.5 years now. Gotta say, the lead up to it, the last little while, has kind of been a little bit disappointing at times, a little bit of letdown in a few areas. But this more than makes up for it. When I first saw the Shenzhou and that first story, those 2 episodes, I was kind of like lackluster on the whole thing. This happens 6 months later. And as we all know, if you watched the first 2 episodes, Michael Burnham's character is sentenced to life in prison. So this one starts 6 months later. But like I said, I don't want to get into too much information here. Yeah, so we get a little bit of explanation about the ship, what its purpose is, kind of. There's some mysterious stuff going on the Discovery, which is going to be fun to learn about, and hopefully we do learn about some of that stuff over the course of the season or the series. Now, interestingly enough, meeting some of the crew was fantastic. Sylvia Tilly, the young little cadet, absolutely love her character. She's so sweet and innocent and shy. She's got anxiety issues, which is kind of cute. So I really like her. Lieutenant Paul Stamets is the openly gay character. Absolutely love his character. He's kind of a snarky, no nonsense, tells it like it is kind of guy. His interactions with Captain Lorca are pretty interesting. They have a pretty interesting crew dynamic there with Saru. Saru's character wasn't developed quite as much in this episode, which is fine. We saw a few little snippets and tidbits of his physiology, I guess. He's got some little things that pop out. Now, they did pop out when the Klingons first showed themselves. He's kind of like a startled reaction. He's got other little things that do things like that. So, yeah. And again, seeing some of the little TOS touches was really nice. There's a few little... You got to watch our spoiler fill review because there's going to be a lot to talk about in this one. I saw a lot of really cool little Easter eggs and things. I've only watched it twice. I watched it the first time just to enjoy it, and the second time to take my notes. So I'm going into this talking to you guys with that knowledge. So I'm looking forward to actually sharing my full review with you guys with Samuel tomorrow. Samuel hasn't seen it yet. He wakes up in the morning and he watches it, and then we film early morning, well, mid-morning, my time when I get up. So expect their spoiler-free review early afternoon, and then the full spoiler-filled review by late afternoon. If you guys are really interested in our opinion. I've already had a lot of people messaging me going, "What did you think? I'm glad you didn't give up on Discovery," and things like that. And one guy asked me, "So how long until the spoiler full review?" I'm like, "Oh, late tomorrow afternoon." He goes, "Oh, it's too long to wait, but I have to, I guess." He's excited to get our thoughts, and as you can tell, I'm more upbeat. I'm much more energetic about this. I do love Discovery. It does have things that I would change. It does have things that I wouldn't have done it quite that way. I really appreciate the time and the effort that they put into it, and it's really starting to grow on me with the visual cues that they're using and how they're using them. If you want to be a complete canonista, you're going to see a lot of problems with it, and it doesn't really take away from my enjoyment of it that much. It does a little bit, like I said, but I try to take myself out of that and just enjoy it for what it is, and there's some really fantastic stuff to enjoy, guys. So don't let any of that canon stuff bother you too much. I can see the progression that they might be making towards the end, where it looks more TOS. We do learn a few things about Discovery itself that are quite interesting, but like I said, I don't want to spoil any of that here today. So I'm just looking over my notes to see if there's anything I can really talk about without giving anything away. There's no flashbacks in this one, which is also something I really appreciate. There's an interesting kind of away mission, or boarding party, I guess, and we see some very interesting stuff with that. More kind of not what I anticipated from Star Trek, but this is what they were talking about when they said that they were going a little bit darker and grittier with this one, and a little more adult or R-rated kind of thing. Nothing dirty or anything like that, just kind of some goriness maybe, and again, more of a mystery, even though we have a lot of mystery on board Discovery itself and with Discovery's mission, I guess. There's a lot of mystery as far as that goes. We do learn a little bit about that at the end, but there's also another mystery that happens during the course of this episode, and that kind of at the end is like a little bit of a surprise, and at least it was for me. Yeah, I can't really say too much about my notes. These are my notes. You can't really see them, so that's fine. But I'm looking forward to doing the spoiler reviews tomorrow with Samuel, because I'm looking forward to getting his thoughts on this. As a fan of Star Trek, you're going to like it, I think. You just got to take off your canonista hat. But even if you're stuck on that kind of thing, which a lot of people think I am, but I'm not really. If they're trying to shoehorn it into a certain time frame, I tend to be like that, and they've done that here. So I got a few issues with it. But if you just take that off for a minute and just look at what they've done visually to tie in a little bit to TOS, and things like that, and enjoy the story for what it is, you're going to be happy and you're going to be surprised, I think. It's definitely worth giving it a chance. Like I said before, this is probably the actual first pilot for Discovery, in my opinion, because we actually see Discovery and its crew and learn some things about it. The other one is like a prequel. It's like a standalone movie. Those two parts could be combined into one episode or one movie, and it's just a standalone prequel piece to kind of set up Michael Berman and Saru and kind of the beginning of this whole Klingon war, which is referenced a little bit in this episode. Causes a little bit of strife and some problems for a few people. But the Klingon involvement in this episode is very minimalistic and a funny moment at one point. So again, I'm looking forward to where they're going with this series. I'm on board. I'm very much on board with Discovery. I stand with Discovery for sure, because this is fantastic. Looking forward to seeing what CBS has in store for us. It's going to be a fun ride, and a lot of discovery along the way. Pardon the pun, but it's true. And hopefully you guys will join us on that journey as we walk you through it and explain our points of view, things we noticed that are bright and they did perfectly well, things that we think they could have maybe changed or really don't fit in the timeline that we're looking at. Just nitpicky stuff, but it's stuff that we here at Trekyards, we feel we have to do to kind of point those things out, and not to be picky or whatever. We're just saying that doesn't make sense in this timeline, but it could be explained later on down the road. So overall, good character development, good pace, good episode, good first pilot in my opinion. Ignore the other two. They're standalone, their own thing. This is where Discovery starts for me, and if I would have seen this last week, I would have been much more impressed. I think they kind of dropped the ball with releasing that other bit first, as it just didn't work. There was a lot of tonality that was wrong with it. This one's bang on, and it feels like Star Trek again. So maybe a little bit darker aspect of Star Trek, true, but Star Trek nonetheless. And like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing more. So that's it, guys, for my quick spoiler-free first reaction video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please check our channel tomorrow. Like I said, there'll be a spoiler-free review with Samuel and myself discussing it, and then of course Samuel and myself discussing the full spoiler breakdown, which are usually sitting around an hour, just a little over an hour, so actually longer than the episode itself. But there's a lot to talk about, and this one has some fantastic stuff, especially at the end. Hopefully you guys are excited, because I know I am. So until next time, guys, live long and prosper, and I don't know, I should make a Discovery pun. I already kind of did. We're on the cusp of a brand new Star Trek Discovery. Ha! And I'm looking forward to the ride and seeing how it plays out. So until next time, guys, I'm Captain Foley. You're watching Trekyards. See you soon.